Hey fourth graders, it's Mrs. Long. I want to talk to you for a moment about making flashcards and how you can use your flashcards to help you to study. So as we get older in school, it's really important that we work on developing good study habits. What do I mean by that? I need to be able to look back over the information that I've learned before I go to take a test on that information to make sure that I've got it. Okay, as we get higher in our school levels, the information that we learn gets harder. It gets more detailed and there's more of it. And so where before maybe you were able to just remember it because you've read the lessons and you've watched the videos and whatnot. But as we get older in our schooling, it's more important that we work on developing study habits that we can carry with us through the rest of our lives. I actually still use study habits today in my daily life when I'm trying to learn something. So it might be a class that I have to take for my teaching degree. It might be, or my teaching certification rather. It might be something that I'm trying to learn personally and memorize and remember. Whatever that may be, having good study habits is really, really important. My dog is sitting, like literally right here. See his nose? He wants attention right now. He thinks I'm talking to him about study habits. But anyway, today I really want to focus on flashcards. So, hopefully I didn't just mute myself. Today I really want to focus on flashcards. So what do I mean by that? Well, with flashcards, what we're going to use is index cards. And this is a great way for us to test ourselves to see if we know information. Because if you just read back over something or you look at a study guide and you just read it, you may think, yeah, I've got it. But then you go to take the test and you're like, why did I get a 60% on the test? I thought I read the study guide. I thought I had it. Okay, when we make flashcards, we're able to test ourselves to know before we get to the actual test if we know the information or not. Flashcards are great for vocabulary. That is definitely the top usage for them. But even like with your science, social studies, and language arts study guides where you have a question, you can actually write that question on the front of the flashcard and then write your answer on the back. So let me just show you really quickly what I mean. All right, I took an index card and I made a flashcard for the vocabulary word theme. All right, so on the front I have the word theme, and then on the back I have the definition of the theme, the lesson, and a story. Okay, so if I'm studying this, I can look at the front of the card. I'm going to show it to you guys. You're going to pretend that you're me. I'm looking at the front of the card and I realize that the camera flips things around, so I'm sorry that it's backwards, but just bear with me. I can look at the front of the card and I'm like, theme. Okay, theme. Theme. I don't remember. Okay, let me flip it over. The lesson in the story. Okay, theme. The lesson in the story. Theme. The lesson in the story. And repeating it over and over to yourself is going to help your brain to remember it. They've actually done research on our brain. They've done a lot of research on our brains and how they work and how they learn information. And they say that you have to hear information at least 7 times for your brain to decide it's important enough to remember. So repeat it to yourself 7 times. Theme. The lesson in the story. Theme. The lesson in the story. And then move on. Set this in a I don't know it yet pile. Move on to your next flashcard. You're going to do the same thing. Look at the flashcard. Read the word. If you don't know what the definition is, flip it over and read the definition. Do that 7 times. Move on to the next one. If you do think you know what it is, be like, oh, theme. I think that's the lesson in the story. It is the lesson in the story. Yay, I got it right. Okay, so if I get it right, now I can put it into now I know it pile. And what I do is I make 2 piles of my flashcards. I make a I don't know it yet pile and a now I know it pile. And then once it's in the now I know it pile, I don't completely ignore it, but I kind of leave it to the side for a bit. It's not the one that I need to focus on. I need to focus on my I don't know it yet pile. So then I go back through my I don't know it yet pile the same way. I try them out. Okay, can I move them yet to the now I know it pile? Maybe, maybe not. But it will take a little bit of time. Studying should take time. If you're on the lesson where it says that you have a test in your next lesson and today you're going to study, you should be spending, there's not anything else in the lesson, right? That's the lesson. So you should spend that hour that you would be spending doing that lesson studying for your test that's the next day. It's really important. You know you have to know these vocabulary words, right? So the whole unit. You can, at the beginning of the unit, you can make the vocabulary flashcards. We have those on the lesson intro page at the very beginning of each unit, the vocabulary words. You can make your vocabulary flashcards and you already have them made, ready to go to study for your test, okay? So use your time wisely. Definitely use these flashcards, the strategies. You can get index cards at the dollar store. You can get a whole bunch of packets. You can get ones that are colored. Those obviously cost more than the just plain white ones. Maybe you want to color code like the color that you write it in. Like, so all of my math vocabulary is in red and all of my reading vocabulary is in blue, or however you want to do it. Or they could all be in black and you can just keep them in different piles and rubber band them together. And then even as you're getting ready for your FAST tests, for the mid-year FAST and the end of the year FAST testing, you can actually pull out your vocabulary words for reading and for math and go back over those. It's a great way to get ready for those tests because those words are important. If a question says for you to find the factors of 64, but you don't have any clue what factors are, that's going to be a hard question to answer. If you're like, oh, factors means the way I multiply to get a number. So how can I multiply to get 64? Oh, I know 8 times 8 is 64, right? So that is how having this memorized is going to help you. If I ask you to find the theme of Little Red Riding Hood and you don't know what the word theme means, it's going to be really hard for you to find the theme of Little Red Riding Hood. But if you do know that the theme is the lesson in the story, now you may have some ideas as to what the theme of Little Red Riding Hood is. If the question is a science question and it's asking you if a reaction is a physical reaction or a chemical reaction, you need to know what those are. If the question is a social studies question and it asks what country is on the border of the southern United States, you need to know what the word border means so that you know, okay, well, what am I looking at? All right. So that is, again, how studying, sorry, I knew that was going to happen. My neighbor's dog came out right at I was almost done. We almost made it through a video with no dogs barking. But anyway, that's how flashcards can help you to study. I hope that this is really helpful for you. Please make sure that you're using it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.